As my reputation grew, something happened that completely changed the direction of my business. I started getting calls from other goalkeeper coaches, not from parents looking for sessions, not from athletes wanting training, from experienced coaches, good at their craft, calling from around the country, asking me one question: how did you build what you built? These were coaches who already knew how to coach. They did not need technical advice, they needed business advice. They were tired of being the best coach in their town but the most broke person in their circle, exhausted from working every evening, every weekend, every holiday camp, and still living month to month. They did not want to spend the next 20 years trading their body and their time for money. What they saw in my business was not just coaching. They saw something organised. They saw standards. They saw marketing. They saw momentum. They saw a machine. And that is when I realised the next critical evolution in going from one student to a global brand. You have to stop thinking like a coach and start thinking like a CEO. A coach focuses on sessions. A CEO focuses on systems. A coach focuses on the next training block. A CEO focuses on acquisition, delivery, retention, and scale. A coach builds skills in athletes. A CEO builds a repeatable model that creates results in athletes, even when the CEO is not personally delivering every session. And here is the most important point I want you to take from this video. If you only get paid when you are physically on a court or a pitch, you do not have a business, you have a high energy job. A real business is something that can run with or without you being present every hour. That does not mean you stop caring. That means you build structure around your caring so it can reach more people than your two hands ever could alone. So I started learning the business of sport. I did not have money for an MBA. I had no formal business training. I studied through real life. I learned through mistakes. I learned through testing. I learned through doing. I learned what to say on the first phone call with a parent. I learned how to structure sessions so people felt progress fast. I learned how to run camps. I learned how to retain students long term. I learned how to organise bookings. I learned how to build trust in a local area and then beyond it. And then I did something that most coaches never do. I documented everything, because documentation is how you scale beyond yourself. And this is where your evolution becomes genuinely powerful. The moment your method is documented, it becomes teachable. The moment it becomes teachable, it becomes transferable. The moment it becomes transferable, it becomes scalable. That is how you go from one coach to many coaches, from one location to many locations, from a local reputation to a global brand. Your job is to become the architect, not just the builder. You build something others can follow. You build a model that creates outcomes consistently. You build a system that protects your standards even when you are not in the room. When you do this properly, the industry seeks you out. Other coaches want to join what you have built. Parents want in, athletes want in, because they are not buying your time anymore. They are buying the system and the culture you created. I want you to think about your own business right now and ask yourself one honest question. If I could not personally show up tomorrow, would my business survive? If the answer is no, that is not a criticism. That is your starting point. That is where the work begins. Because the shift from coach to CEO is not about working less. It is about building something that works beyond you. Something that carries your standards, your values, and your mission, even when you are not physically in the room. That is where real scale begins. That is the CEO shift.